Your pet would like to have a word with you. In fact, your dog, cat, bird, horse, fish, even bearded dragon would like to have an entire conversation with you. But having that trans-species discussion is difficult without an interpreter, or go-between, a specifically skilled individual who's been communicating with our animal friends for more than 3 decades, bridging gaps in understanding, elevating relationships, building peace and harmony among all Earth's creatures. That person is Suzan Vaughn, the Animal Whisperer.
In this episode, 4 cats refuse to eat in this cat quartet mutiny. When our animal friends stop eating, the alarm bells ring, because that's often the first indication of some kind of health issue, but it can also mean something completely different these days. With the degradation of commercial pet foods in full swing, reading the labels is paramount. It can also show you how many brands have hardly any real food in them at all. When John and Meredith's cats stopped eating, they called me to see what the cats had to say about it.
It was a 4-cat mutiny at the home of Meredith and John, led by Nugget, a sassy, long-haired orange cat with tufts of fur on his ears, making him look a little like an orange lynx. Nugget was staging a hunger strike, and the entire Clowder group of cats had stopped eating. The human couple called me to get to the bottom of the problem. They had just purchased a whole case of a particular cat food they thought all their cats liked. We've been trying different wet food brands and flavors, but we continue to struggle to find food that provides proper nutrients that they'll eat. They're playing as usual and seem healthy overall, except for this loss in appetite, Meredith reported. Nugget paced in the background as I spoke to Meredith on the phone. He felt restless. This full-of-adventure orange creamsicle cat was coming into a lot of mischievous energy, and he was ready to unleash it onto the natural world outside. His people had plans for him to be an indoor cat, and I had to find a diplomatic way of letting them know this wasn't going to happen. In addition to losing interest in food, Nugget often meows at us and seems to be trying to tell us something. He frequently jumps over to the neighbor's balcony, which causes us anxiety, they said. Nugget was a charmer in this picture that he sent to me, and tuning into his youthful energy was fun. He told me he was indeed an adventure seeker. He was sorry his people were stressed out when he finally made his way to the neighbor's balcony and the great outdoors, but he said he had to go. He was anxious to let his people know that he had to interact directly with nature to fulfill his life as a happy cat. I guess we're going to have to stop ignoring his request to get outside, Meredith said. Nugget longed to hunt, roll in the dirt and grass, climb a tree, and feel his heightened senses during the night. Even as a neutered adolescent male feline, his nocturnal self was emerging with gusto. Cat number 2 in the household, Hank, hung his head low over his food bowl when I asked him what he thought of their diet. And in the telepathic picture he sent me, he wasn't eating, just staring at the food. Hank had a lot of trouble with the current cat diet. The canned food was just okay nutritionally, but the dry food was without much nutritional benefit, and his body felt it. He showed me that his kitty butt was dragging. As a group, the cats were thrilled that their considerate people were calling to ask me about their diet. There was a group feeling of relief and satisfaction, they sent to me, to convey that. I also offered their people several inexpensive ways to increase the nutritional value of the cat food they already had in the garage. With tools and homework for resolving the food issue, Meredith moved on to her next concern, the litter box. I wanted to mention I've noticed a strong ammonia smell in their favorite litter box, and I'm wondering if anyone has a UTI, she said. Also, we treated 3 of them for fleas with a popular liquid application about a week ago and plan on administering a tablet to treat tapeworms once we confirm the fleas are gone. Posey, a 7-year-old white-chested female calico, wanted to weigh in on this. The strong smell is our bodies trying to flush out the toxic anti-flea chemicals, Posey said. I explained how keeping fleas out of the house was a top priority, adding that we wanted them to be healthy and comfortable too. Posy was in significant discomfort, experiencing hair loss, scabs from scratching, and reactions to the flea tablet. The calico let us know that all the cats needed to have a few weeks on an immune-strengthening diet before they could handle the administration of another heavy-duty chemical. But they all fully understood why we put those chemicals on them after I explained it. Meredith said, "Posy will not let me put the drops on her, so I give her tablets once in a while. I would love your insight on her skin problems and how I should treat her for fleas." As I scanned Posy's body, I saw only an occasional flea. I asked Meredith to consider reacting when she saw a flea instead of taking the road of preventing the fleas, particularly with this sensitive-skinned cat. Meredith and John were willing to wait for the cats to get stronger and reduce doses appropriately. I recommended a natural flea remedy from Green Hope Farms Animal Wellness Collection. Meredith, John, and their cat family have been wonderful clients of mine over the years, and together we've experienced some inspiring effects of animal communication. These two are the couple that told our story in one of my YouTube movies about animal communication that, for me, was uber fulfilling. The movie details the story of Isabelle, a young feral Siamese cat who had kittens near their home in the California desert. After our session, this feral animal agreed to fully cooperate with humans in the sterilization process. Isabelle's story seems miraculous and points directly to the effectiveness of animal communication. Isabelle lived in some bushes in their woodsy apartment complex. No human owned her, but John and Meredith fed her on their upstairs apartment landing to help her out. She was an outdoor cat. She would allow us to pet her, but she had no interest in coming inside, said Meredith. Then she showed up pregnant one day, and we didn't know how to help her since she was definitely a stray. Soon after that, we saw her with 2 kittens. We'd used Susan's services before on health and behavioral issues for our other cats, so we decided to talk to her about this, said Meredith. It was up to me to determine if Isabelle would consent to being fixed and having her kittens sterilized too. I explained to Isabelle that humans asked cats to undergo the sterilization process to ensure that all cats were healthy and happy, and Isabelle asked me to show her the details of what I was asking her to submit to. Explaining the process of sterilization to the cat was an intricate transmission of images, but necessary for her to understand everything we were asking of her. First, she would go from the wide-open spaces of the outdoors to being confined in a carrier. Then she would be fasting in a bedroom. Next, she would be transported by car, examined by veterinarians, put under general sedation, and opened up for major surgery. She would return to consciousness in a small cage in an unfamiliar place, go back into a car for transport back home, and recover in John and Meredith's guest room for a 2-week rehabilitation period. After that, the couple would allow Izzy and her kittens to decide if they wanted to go back to the wild or become domestic. This little mama cat said yes to participating, which warmed my heart, but it also surprised me, even though I've had that kind of same success with feral cats. But I crossed my fingers and hoped I had received her message clearly. Meredith trusted the process and made the appointment to get the cats spayed as soon as the kittens were old enough to be on their own. She made only 1 appointment for Isabelle, but this mama cat had plans of her own. The day before the appointment, the vet's office called to say there had been a cancellation and asked Meredith if she wanted to take the other 2 slots for the kittens. She said yes, steadfast in her trust in the communication. I was stressed because I thought, okay, I have these appointments, but I have no idea how I'll catch the kittens and take them to the vet, Meredith told me. I was pretty sure I could get Isabelle because she let me pet her, but I had no idea how I'd get the kittens in there. The night before the surgery, I heard her meowing at the front door, and this was kind of unlike her. She usually sat quietly and waited for me to appear on the porch. So I opened the front door, and lo and behold, there was a kitten right on the doorstep with her. I was able to grab the one kitten and put her in the room, and then about 20 minutes later, I heard the same meow, and there was a second kitten right at my doorstep. Animal communication made all the difference in helping these intelligent cats understand what we were trying to do. Once they understood, they willingly participated, and she brought her kittens to me. It was a fantastic experience, Meredith told me. The kittens were living under a bush, so Isabelle had to convince them to go up the steps, come to our doorstep where there's a lot of noise and there aren't a lot of places to hide, and it took a giant leap of faith for Isabelle to present her kittens to me. It would have been tragic to shove her into a carrier and take her to get sterilized while she was terrorized and not knowing what would happen, Meredith said. It would have been terrible to have that be her only encounter with people, she told me. And I agree. This soul-to-soul agreement became a physical expression of cooperation and trust between felines and humans. I'm so grateful to have played my part. It still makes me smile.
For more episodes in the series, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. To learn all about Suzan Vaughn and her services, visit her website at animalwhisperer.net. Be part of the community by subscribing to her Facebook page, animalwhisperer.net. Then sign up for Suzan's newsletter to enjoy more of her fascinating animal-human communication stories. So, until next time, join Suzan as she talks to the animals on The Animal Whisperer.